Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of My Favorite Things. This time we're here with what I think is one of the coolest trucks ever made. This is a 2005 Dodge Ram SRT-10. Now you're probably hearing the SRT-10, you're going, well, that's weird, it's usually SRT-8. Well, this one's the SRT-10 because it has the 8.3 liter Viper V10 inside, which is pretty darn cool. Some quick facts about this truck. This is the Yellow Fever Special Edition. Now, only 500 of these were supposed to be ever made. 497 actually made it off the block. And of that, I think 367 Yellow Fever trucks were in the quad cab like this one. Another cool thing about this truck, it was extensively wind tunnel tested. And just by looking at it, you're gonna go, wow, it looks like a brick. But no, it was specifically and meticulously designed this way to give the best airflow over the truck and also to feed that giant motor with the most air as fast as it can. It's got a special ram air hood right here. The grill, your typical Dodge honeycomb grill, is specially formed to just get that air there and keep that V10 from getting way too hot. Now check out this motor. This is an aluminum block 8.3 liter V10. 8.3 liters, that's an insane amount of engine. And now it's naturally aspirated, which means there's no turbocharger, there's no supercharger, there's no procharger, there's nothing forcing air down the throat of this thing. It's just the motor, and it produces 500 horsepower and 525 pound-feet of torque. Now today, you know, that's still an appreciable amount of power, but it's not insanely powerful. But this is from 2005, and in 2005, 500 horsepower was nuts. This is 2 years before Ford reimagined and came out with the new Shelby GT500, which was a 5.4 liter V8 supercharged that produced the same amount of power as this. Pretty cool coming naturally aspirated a couple years ago before something like that. Now, something else kind of cool is this was the third offering from the big three of special edition trucks in the early 2000s. You had the Ford F-150 Lightning Edition, you had the Chevy Silverado SS, and then they came out with this, and it kind of blew both of those out of the water. Now, obviously, both those trucks, the Lightning and the Silverado SS, have held their value decently well, and I would say this has too. However, when this was brand new, the base price of one was $50,000 in 2005 money. Now today, the base price, no options, not the special edition, it's $76,000. Now, when the brand new F-150 Lightning, the electric truck, 111 plus, that doesn't seem so bad. Although the fuel economy in this isn't great. Here we are on the inside of the SRT-10 Ram, and it's definitely a Ram in here. Some notable things is with the Yellow Fever Special Edition, you get a two-tone interior, and you can kind of see it all around here on the dash, on the doors, even on the seats. There's yellow trim, and there's even a little placard. This is number 439 out of 500 ever made in Yellow Fever, Solar Yellow, whatever you want to call the color. One other notable thing in here, it's got the push-button start from the Dodge Viper. Now, it's an early 2000s push-button start, so you still have a regular key that you still insert into the regular ignition and still turn the regular way, but it stops you, and once you've turned it all the way, then it's like, okay, now you can press the push button. So it's kind of a two-step process, but it's still kind of cool. It's a very red button. It's you know, it's kind of the launch the missile button. And speaking of missiles, in 2004, the Dodge Ram SRT-10 actually won a Guinness Book of World Records for the fastest production truck. I think it averaged speeds of 153 miles an hour or something along that. Not crazy fast, but when you consider you are in a full-size pickup, not too bad either. Here we are at the back of the SRT-10, and like I said, it's still a Ram. It's got a fully functional trailer hitch on here. You know, you get your full-size truck bed. One thing you don't get in a regular Ram though is it's got a spoiler. It even has a spoiler removal kit, which is inside the glove compartment, which lets you remove the spoiler in just a couple easy steps in case you want to use your truck bed for something more than moving a coffin or something of that nature. Now, along with the Chrysler Crossfire, I'm not sure this really provides much in the way of downforce or stability. It could, but I'm not going to say it is. But it does look cool. It visually sets it apart from other Rams, in case the lowered and more aggressive stance, the large wheels, and the huge front end weren't indicators in of itself. And of course, the badging everywhere. It's just a little cool thing that you get. You're spending, you know, $50,000 on a race truck, and they didn't skimp on everything, and that's really nice. Something else kind of cool, this has a Flowmaster exhaust kit on it. Interesting, it is a 10-to-1. Actually, it's a 5-to-2, because even though there's one tip here, there's two tubes coming out of it. It produces a pretty unique sound. If you've driven a Viper before, whether it's a Viper truck or a regular Viper, you're gonna know what the Dodge V10 sounds like. If you haven't driven one of those, it's not gonna sound anything like what you think. Well, take a listen. Like I said, it's different. It's pretty cool. You don't expect it, but it is different. I don't know. My first reaction upon hearing it was like, huh, it reminds me of a go-kart my neighbor used to have. But he didn't have 500 horsepower in his go-kart, so, you know, who's complaining? I actually found a use for the spoiler on this thing. You're tailgating with some friends, you're watching a game. Well, it's exactly what you thought it was going to be. We're going to have some soup on this thing. So, while I try to figure out how to eat a can with a spoon, I want to thank you for tuning in to My Favorite Things. This is another one of those episodes that, well, focuses on my favorite things. I've always loved this truck. It's always been a little intimidating because I was a teenager when this came out, and it was like the holy grail of pickups. And here it is. And it's in wonderful shape. It's nice to see something like this in such good shape with so much life left. And yeah, that's all I have for you today. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on My Favorite Things.